local youth, give them something to do. We have to really be involved with our community and our youth.
Alrighty guys, week 4 is here, and I gotta be honest with you, I think a lot of people would agree around here that the Steelers have not been that good of a football team the last couple of weeks. It's not that they're not trying, but they're just collapsing at the worst possible times, especially in the fourth quarter. Like what happened last week is against the 49ers. They had the chance to win the game. All they had to do was just run the football out, run the clock out, and then James Conner fumbles the football right into Steeler territory, and then San Francisco scores a touchdown. Yeah, I was not expecting this at all. I don't think anybody was expecting this at all. I knew the Steelers probably wouldn't be as good without Ben Roethlisberger behind them, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. It's getting real bad right now, to the point where this Monday night is, of course, the Steelers are playing the Bengals on Monday Night Football. They're both of them are 0-3. Somebody's coming out of that game with a victory, and I'm not even sure the Steelers can do it, but because of how disjointed this whole team looks. You've got coaches that aren't doing their jobs. The offensive and defensive coordinators, Randy Fichtner and Keith Butler, are doing their jobs right. Randy Fichtner's going too conservative, trying to slow it down for Mason Rudolph, but you gotta let him at least try. At least in the second half, you gotta let him at least try to throw the ball deep downfield. And then Keith Butler, I just don't know. I still believe that he's using the same playbooks from the last time they played these teams. It just feels that way. Whenever you watch some of the games here, and I think he's going to do the same thing with the Bengals too, because remember, this is the guy that said is one of the big problems they'll have to face is Tyler Eifert, and Tyler Eifert wasn't even playing in the last time that these two teams met. So, I just don't know, man. I just don't know what's going to happen. I have to believe that the Steelers have to win this, are going to be aimed at winning this game. They have to be. Because if you let Cincinnati come into Heinz Field and win this game, you can't. There's no way to come back from that. There's no way this team can come back if they let Cincinnati win this game. I know they've been 0-4 in the past. They were 0-4 6 years ago, and then almost made it to the playoffs. But this is different, though. This is a divisional matchup. You cannot let a team like Cincinnati come into this game and come out with a win. That can't happen. If that happens, then that's when you have to start cutting people. That's where you have to start cutting people. You got to start cutting people like Keith Butler. You got to start cutting Randy Fichtner. It's weird for me to say this because I'm not usually used to seeing the team being this bad, but that's just the situation where we're at right now. My gut is telling me to pick Cincinnati because it seems like this is that moment where they could turn their season around, but I just can't do that. I just can't really think that this team that the Steelers are really going to be lazy and think that and give up a game like this important. This is a very important game to keep any threat of a chance of getting into the playoffs or their season alive. So I'm gonna say Pittsburgh wins this one. Please.
Back with you here, and it's my favorite part of the show, beating you in your sports. And while I am the defending champ, this year shaping up to be pretty competitive as we pick games in the AFC North. All right, Jerome, you were perfect last week going 4-0, putting you in a first-place tie with Alvin, but I'm right there, just one game back. Steelers, Bengals, Monday night. Who you taking?
I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is a game that they must win. They have to win. They're at home. They're playing against an opponent that they're very familiar with, an opponent that they have owned, quite frankly, for the last couple of years. And so they've got to find a way to get it done. It's going to be tough, but I believe they're going to win this game.
Yeah, 8 in a row over the Bengals. And I don't think it's much of a surprise. We're all going with the Steelers to get their first win of the season. If you're going to bet against the line through the FanDuel Sportsbook app, it's Steelers by 3.5 as of this show's taping. Moving ahead, the Browns visit the Ravens. All three of us going with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. The FanDuel Sportsbook line has the Ravens favored by a touchdown. And be sure to check out the Sportsbook bet.fanduel.com for the up-to-date lines. All right, let's take
the NFL is hard to figure out. We know that. Every week things can change, but the Steelers really have to change the results. So, Charlie, I'll start with you. Your pick for tomorrow night.
You see the record that the Steelers have on Monday night. I'm looking at this Steelers defense. They're going to put pressure on Andy Dalton. He has not beaten this football team since 2015. Steelers will win this game. Mason Rudolph will have a big game. Steelers win 24-23.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that only because of desperation. I thought the desperation would hit them last week. They were in position to win that game last week, and then that fumble at the end kind of sealed their fate. So did a 3rd and 11 penalty call on Mark Barron. These are mistakes that cannot happen, and they just compiled, I think, and compounded for them. So I think the Steelers are going to win Monday night. They continue to do well here at home, and the Bengals are going to go in 4. Steelers will finally get in the win column. I'm saying a bigger score than that, 31-17. So, Ed and Rich, look into your crystal balls.
Well, I thought there wasn't a way in the world the Steelers would go 0-3 to start the season. I don't think they'll go 0-4 to start the season, so I don't know if that says anything because we've been so bad with these picks right now. But I think the Steelers win this game. Desperation, I feel it in that locker room. They need a win to try to turn things around. I also like to go with history here. That the Steelers are really good on Monday night, prime time at home. I think Mason Rudolph will feel a little bit more comfortable in that offense, and, you know, he might be a little bit more aggressive. At least he said he was going to be. I like the Steelers to win this one 27-13.
You know, Rich, they better win this one, or they go 0-4 and staring at 0-6 going into the bye week. As long as I've been covering them, I've never covered an 0-6 team. So this is a big game for them. I also think they're going to win. The Bengals can't run. They're averaging 2.4 yards a carry, 42 yards a game. The Steelers haven't been able to run. I think they will put everything to try and run in this game, even though their tight ends and fullback aren't in it. I see it 24-20. I think Mason Rudolph will be much more comfortable at home in his second start.
And guys, we need to see a better performance from the Steelers defense too. They have 10 first-round picks on that defense, and they just can't be on the field as much as they have been.
I believe something's got to change if that's the case, Rich. The other thing I want to see more of, we saw nothing last week. He was on the field 14 times, he never touched the ball. Jalen Samuels. Jalen Samuels, I think, tomorrow, especially with Mason Rudolph making his first home start, needs to be an active contributor to this offense. Why he wasn't, still scratching my head on that one.
And I think a lot of people are scratching their head. This is a guy who knows he can run the football, had a lot of success last year, but can he mix it up? I expect James Conner to get the bulk of the carries, and if he can't, Jalen Samuels mix it up, get in there, and do what you do.
All right, so let's take a look at where we are with these picks. And so we all picked the Steelers, which means nothing will change in these standings. Right now, Ed has the lead with 2-1 record. I went with the Steelers. I thought just because they kept losing, they were due to win. So that's my strategy again this week. They have to win.
You're in desperation mode. You're 0-3.
What do you want me to do? I'm not going to pick the Bengals or no, I can't. If the Bengals win that game, I'd be shocked. But I'd be shocked if they were 0-3, so we'll also see about that. The other thing I think we got to see is James Conner run the way he's capable of running. And, you know, I think maybe the fumble stuff is in his mind a little bit too much. Whatever the case, he has to, and I believe he'll be in there. He's got to come back with a strong performance following that offensive line, which also has to kick it in.
Where you can get all kinds of different hats.
Open, and it's pulled in by Deontay Johnson for the touchdown. Rudolph to Johnson, 43 yards, and the Steelers are having fun playing football.
DeAndre Johnson ran a diagonal route from his right slot to the left corner, and man, he outran everybody, and Mason put the ball right on the money.
Johnson's second touchdown of the season, and Mason Rudolph.
And that'll close out this third quarter. Third quarter saw Jalen Samuels with the 2-yard touchdown run.
And 4-3. Can they survive the fourth quarter?
Intercepted. And that ends that. And the Curious. You know, they have scored on 40 straight goal-to-goal possessions going back to 2017. But the pickoff and goal puts an end to that streak. Steelers in complete control. And as Pittsburgh will coast in for this win, you know, Mike Tomlin, you think about these primetime games, you think about the Monday night football games. 14-2. Mike Tomlin is now on Monday Night Football. He's just behind, just by a sliver, behind John Madden, who had 11-1-1 mark on Monday Night Football. 50th season of this series, and that is Tomlin's mark. That's one of the best periods.
Why did I leave Los Angeles?
For different things. Bill Belichick, you look at the consistency, the winning percentage, how he manages his teams, how his players play for him. Feel good about Mason Rudolph moving forward? As long as they continue to build the game plan around him, I think what we saw tonight is a concerted effort to get the ball on the edges and get the care of the team. Remember, they traded for Minka Fitzpatrick to bolster the defense, so the offense would have to score on tough points. And now you get the AFC North here, right? So you get this one, and then you got the Ravens coming up, and things got really muddled up with all the 2-2 teams.
Oh, this feels so good. This feels so good. Okay, so it's official. I'm going to start wearing a jersey every game now from here on out. We gotta win. We gotta win. And yeah, I know it was against Cincinnati, but a win is a win. And you know what? We're still in this. This team is still in this. It's gonna be tough next week against Baltimore. But you know what? They beat them. Cleveland loses to San Francisco next week. The Steelers will be right back in the first place position. So, pretty good night. Pretty good night. I only got to see the second half because I had to work for the first half. I did see the first part of the game during my break, but yeah, great night. Really great night. Let's hope it continues. Let's hope we can continue this momentum going into next week and further beyond. It's not going to be easy, but you know what? Tonight showed a lot of promise, and hopefully this is going to lead to great things in the future. Enjoy the night while you can.